Hello and welcome to Timberborn Update 7 Experimental. If you're new here, my name is JC the Beard and I make friendly, uncut Let's Plays of Timberborn and other games as well. So thanks for clicking on this video. We just got a huge, exciting new update a few hours ago, so let's go ahead and talk about what's new and different as well as how we're going to be exploring it in our videos and streams moving forward. But the biggest thing everyone has been looking forward to here is 3D terrain. We're now able to place terrain blocks on top of any solid surface, which means we can finally build super compact farm stacks and bury settlements completely underground, actually legitimately underground. In addition, we have a new improved layer inspection tool that cuts through terrain and water, and on top of that, the excavator no longer consumes extract. In fact, it doesn't consume anything at all. That means we'll be able to do all of this fun new terraforming with much less hassle and without having to have that other production chain set up. And now here's the surprise. We already knew we were getting tubeways. We'll talk more about those later. But what we didn't know was that we're also getting zip lines. That's right, Mechanistry chose to give us faction-specific transportation options in this update. Zip lines are Folktales exclusive, and as the name implies, consist of ropeways between player-defined points that serve as a higher speed transportation network. They say that it is a 150% speed boost. And now I'm going to hop into a testing world on dev mode to show you how this all works. Alright, so we're here in a Folktales testing world. I've got dev mode turned on, and I gave myself some science and went ahead and unlocked these zip lines so we can show you guys how these things work. So we have three different buildings. We have a station, we have a pylon, and we have a beam. So what the station does is that's where the beavers get on and off the zip line. So I'll put two stations set apart like this. And then in between stations, we have the option of running different routes, but I'm going to show you how this works first. Let's get these built and all that. All right, so we now have a station here that we can connect with a path and get everything all situated. You'll notice this isn't connected with anything, but watch what happens when I open this. We have a connection menu. So if you hit Add Connection, you can click on this guy right here, and it'll give you an idea of the distance. We have a maximum of 30-meter connection. This is 23. And then the angle of inclination is 11 out of a maximum of 50 degrees. So we get those two connected, and suddenly, guess what? Same part of the same path network. So these don't actually function, and it's the same for tubeways. They don't actually function as a district crossing, and you cannot connect them across districts. So just to prove that to you, let's put up another district center here. And when I go to connect with this path, it's going to give me that districts must be separated by a crossing thing. Even though these paths aren't connected directly, this actually functions as an extension thereof. So again, it's not going to replace district crossings. I know a lot of people thought that might be a thing that it would take care of, but that's not a functionality of the zipline system. So again, 30 meters maximum distance, but as long as you're not too insane on the height differences, you don't even need to put pylons in between. But if you want to route around specific things, like say for example, we wanted to take from here, we wanted to go this way, and then we wanted to come up here, and then we wanted to come all the way down to here. All we'd have to do, first of all, just actually get this thing finished, which is super easy in dev mode. You don't have to have beavers go actually build anything. But then you come in here to the zipline station, and we have this other connection that we can go ahead and either go to here or to here, and you'll notice it gives you that information on distance and inclination again. But importantly, if you go here, it turns red. It says too far, 43 meters. So we'll go ahead and just get this thing all set up here. And there we go. And of course, at the far end, we're going to want them to have somewhere else to get off. So I will go ahead and do that. I'll just put that path there because I can. And then this will go here. Get this built. So now our beavers have three different areas they can go to. And just so we can see them actually using the zip lines, I'm going to give them some things to do. Like, for example, we have this contemplation spot. Get that unlocked. And I'll put in one of those there. Set that to finish now. And then over here, we'll go ahead and I'll put in... I guess we could go with a dance hall. That's a fun thing. Again, we're in dev mode, so we don't have to worry about actually having the materials to build this. We'll just get that set up. And now they've got different destinations. So we're going to see what happens when a beaver gets on there. See if anyone is tempted. There we go. All right. We're gonna follow this beaver. Like, take a look at this. It's really cool. Like, it's a zip line. And has gotten off here and is in the contemplation spot. Now we have these guys over here taking their journey. And they're going to come over to the dance hall, which is fun. And again, any amount of beavers can get on here. It's not limited by any sort of capacity. And it's just a nice extension of the path network. So to demonstrate how this actually works, let's click on a beaver. And because we're in dev mode, we can take a look at this behavior manager. It's the walk executor thing that dictates, displays how long a beaver is doing the walk command. Only changes when they get off of this. So it is an extension of the path system. And it's just fun to see these guys zipping along. It's really enjoyable. I love it so much. And I'm really excited to get to this with our other playthrough that we're going to be doing here. But while these guys are having fun zipping along, other stuff you guys might want to know about the zip lines. Again, like I said, they don't place district crossings. We already went over that. And we have to have a minimum of 2 zipline stations, 1 on, 1 off. But there's no limit to what else you can have in the network as long as it's able to be connected with some sort of distance or inclination allowance there. So we've got 3 in this simple network. We have these 3 stations, and we have these pylons. I didn't build anything with the beams, but basically what the beam is it's just a more compact vertical way to get stuff situated. Like, if you want to maintain heights a little bit more cleanly, like you see, this is a little bit of inclination. It's not a ton. But, for example, if we wanted to remove... I guess I could just demonstrate it for you. We'll go ahead and remove this pylon. Suddenly we have this thing that is completely disconnected. But say we wanted to have the inclination be a little bit less, or there was something we had to go under. Oh, this guy's in the middle of the air, so good luck with that one, bud. We just have to get this reconnected here and reconnected there. And I don't know if it's actually going to get the beaver back on here or not. No, it's I guess it warped them. But oh no, now they're stranded. So I guess don't do that unless you want to have some stranded beavers. But fortunately for them, they're not going to exist in another 5 seconds when I end this and we go talk about two boys. So now let's talk about two boys. These were teased a while back, but not much information was given at that time. So now, similar to ziplines, two boys are Iron Teeth's fast transportation method, consisting of stations and completely modular tubes. These go 4 times as fast as walking, which is extremely exciting. So we're going to go ahead and hop into another test world on dev mode to explore these. Alright, so now we're in the Iron Teeth dev mode testing world, and like the ziplines, the tubeways are located in the Path and Structure tab here, and we have a station, which has a number of ports on the back and sides, as well as an entrance, and then we have 2 different types of tubes. We have the normal tubeway, and then we have the solid tubeway. So the difference between these guys is your normal tubeway, well, I guess I could go ahead and have them actually, you know, pretend to build this so we can take a look at what they actually look like. But your normal tubeway is going to be good for 2-dimensional building. Basically, kind of like we have our power shafts here. These guys are going to only exist on a flat plane, and there's any amount of intersections that you can or want to put in, up to 4, because obviously this is a 2-dimensional system currently. But the idea behind these is they function just like a path, but they're only 2-dimensional. If you want to go vertical, you've got to have your solid tubeways. Now, it should also be noted that you can still use these to build the same kind of network that we've had set up over here. And I know I'm not going to manually click all these because we're not working on that yet. But these guys go vertical, just like that. And you can build them on top of these other platforms and all that good stuff. And that's all well and good. We can also take our regular tubeway on top of a platform, and we can connect to a vertical solid tube-way to create that kind of a junction. And again, vertical junctions are possible with this. This is the 3-dimensional variant, and the other one was the 2-dimensional variant. So let's clean this up a little bit so we can have a little bit more of a shot at actually, you know, making something that's usable and isn't just super incredibly heinously ugly. So we're going to put another tube-way station up here. And just like the zipline, I do need to stress that these are an extension of the path network and not a replacement for a district crossing, so it still has to be a separate network for that. But how we're going to go about doing this is I'm going to have this tubeway, say, come out here, and then we're going to do our solid one coming right the way up here, and then this guy is going to go into here. And because I have to click on each of these individually and build them in dev mode, I'm not going to make you sit through that, so that'll just get taken care of right quick, and we'll investigate how these liquid beavers go through them. All right, so now we have a simple tube-way network set up where we have 3 disconnected areas. We've got an exercise plaza up top, and we have some of those scratchers on the side. And you can see the beavers, when they go through there, the little segment lights up, travels 4 times as fast, and they can just choose where they want to go. Anywhere connected in the network, they can just automatically get routed, and it'll just take them wherever they want to go. No capacity limits. You can have one beaver going this way, you can have one beaver going this way, and they'll just decide which route they want to take whenever they feel like doing so. I just think this is really, really cool. I love this so much. It reminds me of Hypertubes and Satisfactory, which another thing we need to get back into on this channel. But again, other points to make about tubeways. They function a lot more granularly than the ziplines do. Like I said before, it's basically like another path system if you want to count this as maybe a ladder or something. But there we go. Now, our beavers that aren't going to exist in 10 minutes already have their 3 well-being. Good job. But you're going to have to be very careful about how you build this stuff, because it does have to actually be constructed by a beaver. And, oh, you know what I forgot to mention is that the tubeways can be built underwater, and they're waterproof. So I'm going to go ahead and construct a segment across this river here, and we'll demonstrate that real quick. All right, so now we've got this thing going into the drink here. It's not waterlogged, and we're going to have beavers coming through here, and they're going to grab their drink of water and some algae rations, and they can go right back through the tube. So this is great, because if you have an area that you want beavers to traverse, you don't want them to get wet, like, for example, maybe it's bad water, you just build tubes through it. And you're not going to have to worry about anybody getting infected, as long as, you know, they can actually build it without getting infected. And that's just going to open up so many different options for transportation networks in the game and make some really, really creative stuff possible. Other things that you can do with these tubes is the solid tubeways can be built underground. So they're the only ones that can be built underground. The regular ones aren't going to be able to do that. But if you take a solid tubeway here, and we go over here to our landscaping tab, and we do our terrain blocks just right on top, like so, then that's not going to have any problem getting done. I'll go ahead and get this quote-unquote built, and I'll show you how that functions. Yeah, so there you go. It is possible to put the solid tubeways underneath stuff. Now, you can't tunnel through existing land, but you can, and here's where this comes back to other stuff that we talk about sometimes on the channel with mass transit construction and everything. It's like when they build subways with what's called the cut and cover method. They remove land, and then they build the subway underneath, and then they put dirt back on top of it. That's what you're going to have to do here to make this. But if we wanted to have this come through here, then it would be as simple as that, and you could still maintain your landscaping. And you can even hide these if you really wanted to. You think these are like the ugliest things you've ever seen, you don't have to look at them. Put them underneath something, put them underneath a building. It's totally fine. These solid tubeways function just like a platform, and if we wanted to, we could get one of these row houses, these tall, thin ones, just build it right on top. And there you go. It's just like it's an element of your vertical building thing, like you might choose to do in your playthrough. Endless possibilities. Really, really, really exciting stuff. And I'm so excited to see what else we can do with these things. And another thing I talked about but didn't actually physically demonstrate. Yes, Since we have 3D terrain, we can finally do really dumb stuff like put an entire irrigation station and assorted farmland on top of a really spindly single support. So yeah, we'll have our beavers come in here, and someone's going to end up working at this fluid dump. Looks like it's our friend Russell Burns here, channel supporter through the Beard Booster program. Going to dump some water in here, and you'll see that it's going to hold just fine and green this land up, and any other terrain this touches will be arable for farmland. So yes, we can finally do the ultra compact, super optimized diorama that can support 1,000 beavers with a whole bunch of actual growable crops that aren't just the hydroponic gardens. I don't know, someone's probably going to beat me to it, so whatever. But that's something I still think would be really, really fun to do. So it just goes to show you, this is a really, really cool update, and I'm really excited to see what else we can do with it. So back to the patch notes we go. Okay, so besides all that, what else is new? In addition to the excavator no longer requiring extract to function, we now have access to both upward and downward power shafts by default without researching them, and they only require logs to build, so no more planks or gears. Smelters also work twice as quickly now, ostensibly to help support the added metal demand brought on by the new transportation methods, and in tandem with that change, we also have slightly faster production from the mine and efficient mine for scrap metal. Slopes and stairs have a much smaller effect on range lines now, which I'm not exactly sure what this means, but I'm guessing might be related to how much they increase the path distance from the district center, as opposed to just a straight flat path. There's a bunch of miscellaneous changes and bug fixes that you can check out in the patch notes, but there's one big one we need to address because it has the potential to cause some severe problems if we go into a new game without knowing about it. Barriers have been adjusted. That's your contamination barriers and your irrigation barriers for the Folktales and Iron Teeth respectively. And now they're going to function more like in-game fences in terms of connection and how they actually stop stuff. Specifically, straight from the patch notes. Barriers no longer block relevant ground effects when placed in diagonal lines. This is communicated by the new visuals as the corners of the barriers aren't connected. So this is something that we're currently exploiting pre-change in our Ember Pelts playthrough to take advantage of the extra planting space afforded by diagonal placement, and I bet a lot of you are doing that as well. So we really need to make sure that we remember that strategy is no longer going to work. We're going to have them zigzag so everything can connect on a flat face. So all of this is really exciting, and I can already think of a lot of new stuff to try when we get into our new playthroughs with each faction. As is tradition, our first video series on the new update will be with the Folktales, and that first episode will come out tomorrow as of the posting of this video, or later tonight for channel members as a thank you for supporting. But tonight, for everybody, we're going to be diving into a new playthrough with the Iron Teeth in livestream format, which is always a lot of fun. We did it for Update 6, and that was an absolute blast. So I would love to have you on board for either or both of these, if you so choose. Thanks again for checking out this video, and happy building in Timberborn Update 7 Experimental. We'll see you later. Bye.